Hello.
Hello, Glenn?
Yep.
Hey, it's Dana, Danny boy.
How's it going?
Not so bad, not so bad. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
It's good to hear.
Hey?
So that's good to hear.
Yeah. I thought you were calling to say that you had bought a bag of chicken feed or something.
Yeah, that's coming. Trust me, it's coming. I'm moving into a new apartment like next week, so I've been kind of stuck doing that as far as my money. but I pulled the receipt out today, and it's on my my little coffee table. So as a reminder,
you can trade it in for a month of playing music out in the field there.
My arms might get tired, but okay, I'll try.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't forget about you. I was actually even talking about that today before I called you. I have to do that. But the chicken's not for you, though. You know, just for the chickens.
Hey?
For the chickens, not for you. You know.
Yeah, for the chickens. Yeah.
Especially it's starting to get cold.
I called from Boston yesterday, and we were on the phone for almost 2 hours. And at the end, just before I hung up, I said, we all work for chicken feed here. So if you're planning on a couple of hours on the telephone with me, you might consider sending $20 to buy a bag of chicken feed.
Yeah.
Chicken feed? You all work for chicken feed?
You are nuts. You
got to put it in context here.
Yeah.
You got these chickens that have to be fed.
Right. You know, the old farm thing, I still got to do that. I got to send you your pictures. There's a whole bunch there's a list of things I have to do.
And Mika told me she saw a picture that you put on the net or something about the clouds, the Sfumato pictures in the clouds or something.
Yep. I'm just curious to see if people can even see that, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Because I saw about 2 or 3 different, I saw an eagle blowing. It was like probably central Canada. There's a face of an eagle, like a bald eagle, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then there was another face right above. Maybe it could be a play on you. It was like another face that kind of, if you were a cloud, maybe. Right above where your house is, a little bit. I actually saved the picture, so I'll try to maybe send it to you. You can open the link up or something. But I was like, I wonder what that means. But that was last night around maybe 1 or 2 a.m. or this morning.
Yeah.
So. Oh, you're in a movie.
I am?
Yeah, you're in 2012. You actually, you're in there. You're played by what's his name? Woody Harrelson. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me because when I had the site going on a regular basis, every time I went to check the tracker, there were 3 or 4 different companies that we basically tracked to being Hollywood script writing places.
But I mean, he even looks like it. He's got the long hair. Actually, he looks like how when I was up there, when you have like that headband type of, like, he's got that same hair and the same beard. I mean, it looks, and he lives in a trailer. And he knows, he's got maps and stuff. Check out my maps, and then everyone thinks he's crazy, but the crazy guy's the one with the answers at the end. Everyone's trying to find him to find out where to go, when all this shit's going down. Everyone's, he's crazy, but he knows where to go. Let's go. They're taking planes over to see this guy while like the rest of the, the nova's happening, supernova's happening, and so they're in a plane. They're trying to land on this stuff just to meet this guy to find out where to go. And then there he is, looking just like you. I was like, wow.
I don't think there are too many farms in Canada that get visits from AWACS planes.
All those coincidences, huh? Wow.
Anyways, I hope they got the script right.
Oh, an interesting part at towards the end, they're saying that the government was building basically spaceships or something, or spaceships. They're hinting at spaceships to take them off the planet when all this cataclysm starts taking place. Then they were like, no, they're just ships. And it's for when the waters come in. And then one of the kids asked, you always have like a kid ask because they're always curious, So they're like, oh, how come these ships don't have anchors? He goes, oh, they're not ships, they're arcs. So that's how they were planning on surviving. The water comes in, they just built these massive arcs to take the brunt. So over in Tibet.
The ships are there for their trials.
Yeah. Yep, I remember you saying that. Yep, they have all the governments centraled in all the ships. Yep, each country had their own ship. And a seat on that ship was several $1 billion just for a seat. You get a room because you live there for, the rest of
10,000 years.
Yeah. Like, wow. So, everyone's sitting there in the movie, I don't think it was such a great story, and they couldn't really, I'm hearing all this crap. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, we're watching two different movies right now. Yeah.
Different theaters, or they're walking by on the sidewalk, and at least we're sitting in the audio section of the theater. We're not in the play yet.
Yeah. So on your side, any new occurrences or updates from last time we spoke? Yeah.
Well, what the cell and I have been doing for the last few weeks is they are, in fact, preparing to make a presentation in court about sensory communications. So in order to get the basic material, and it goes back to, the time when DNA was unknown by juries and unknown by judges, and they accepted the fact that blood was a reasonable thing to present as evidence, and the first time they came up with DNA, nobody wanted it presented in court as evidence. There was no proof of anything type of thing. So they had to make cases where they would present the evidence until they were able to educate the judges and jurors. This is something the same. There is a double system of listening in on other people's conversations,
right,
in an open field. It can be electronic or it can be sensory. Electronic people accept today that it's possible to have devices that can hear people talk from a distance, but there's no data on sensory type of communication. So what they're doing is they set up two separate places, one with electronic devices, one with sensory communications capabilities, and I get to choose a third place to go, usually done at night. The first time was from about 8 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning. I pick a topic, and every hour I either speak it out loud or read it silently. And the idea is I must be in a place where there are at least 3 cats. They must be in places where they have at least 3 people, each one of them basically witnessing the other 2. And at the end, there's a cross-checking about if the sensory people got the same message as the electronic people, and in the end, who is the closest to what I was doing. So we had the first session, and then last week we tried a second session, but there was a delay. Some of the people who were to be within the two groups of three got delayed and didn't show up on time. So we basically cut it short at 10 o'clock and scrapped that attempt. And we're going to try again sometime in the next few days or so. But we have to do it 4 times over the next month or so that they have 4 communications of an 8-hour period. Then they'll cross-check each other and come to me and discuss exactly what it is that I was in fact saying, because I've written it all down. And if they are correct, the sensory one will be more accurate than the electronic one, which is more dependent upon atmospheric conditions and stuff. Then they can make a presentation in a courtroom based on that evidence.
You're saying they have equipment that can listen inside of your head?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow.
If it can't listen, it can sure communicate.
I don't know what's worse, right?
Well, the whole idea is to create a distraction in a person at a critical moment.
Yeah.
In their thinking processes. And so far, it's used most often in sports.
Right.
I was at the plate waiting to put the ball over the fence, or a golfer on the tee, or a tennis player seeing a ball coming in his direction just before he goes to hit it, gets distracted for a fraction of a second. And it can take a guy like Tiger Woods from being, 95% accurate and dropping it down to 65%.
Yeah, I've seen people are watching games and, a pop-up fly ball, something elementary that they catch, since Little League. They sit there and, where'd it go? Right? They close the glove a little too early or something. So I think that
Woods went through a period this year where he was hitting only about 60% of the fairways from the tee, and that makes no sense at all. So either they were working at it, or he was acting.
Yeah.
He was bought out and playing a part if he wasn't being distracted by this kind of activity.
It's a distraction. I think also it might play on maybe their confidence at that exact moment. Like they lose their confidence and they can't. Or they get in a rut now because their confidence is down.
Yeah, and they can get the body then to produce the chemistry linked to depression.
You can see it.
Great for a long time.
It's easier, I think, on especially sports players used to getting praised, and also now they're in front of everybody messing up left and right. One thing if you're doing it by yourself, you could always, but if everyone's watching you, the world's watching you, it's like they can really mess with you, I think.
Well, that's what happened to the Montreal goalie, Terry Price, who basically was a phenom in his first 2 years for the Montreal Canadiens. And he's been through a period of about a year and a half now where he looks worse than the worst. at critical times.
Right.
They're hoping that he's now come out of it because he's played 2 games back to his old form.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight's his 3rd. That's what Tom and I were sitting in front watching. Tom watches the game. I watch the players.
Yeah. He definitely watches the game. So, man. So,
that's basically what I've done. I've had, I guess you heard about it, a change of mind from Stephanie. Decided that she doesn't want to move into the house because I'm too suspicious.
She said this to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That if people don't do things that are suspicious, I'm not suspicious. When they do things that are suspicious, I get suspicious.
Right.
In any event, I hope that she carries out what she says she's going to do, which is to move to this area anyways, go to school here, and be part of the group. Because it's important that we have representatives of all genders, all nationalities, all races, and certainly important to have people who disagree with us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't make a full complement of a perfect human being unless you assemble the close to perfect parts of 13 different people. Each one may have a 13th of them that's perfect, and the rest of them that's full of shit. You know?
Yeah.
I hope that it all works out in the end. I think it's on its way in that direction. We'll see more next summer. Scotty has contacted me, and he wants to come back as soon as possible. So we probably will see him in the new year.
You'll see me.
Good.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, you're an important part, not just for who you are, but for your understanding of Japanese activities as well. And the music, I think, is also important in setting the stage for people thinking properly, kind of a division between life as it rumbles around us all the time to something different in the way of music gets people focused better, I believe, anyway.
I'll do my best. Yeah, that's kind of what drew me to that instrument. I was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
And I heard people playing it, and I said I have to try it myself. I may not be the best, but I just try to, whatever I can, and I get my ass kicked by it every time I play it because it's like not worthy to play it. Sometimes I feel it's just maybe that's my medulla kicking in. It was just I tear myself apart. I think I'm my worst critic sometimes, but
I'm sure that with the right kind of audience, people with functioning brains, things sound differently. That you're not getting the same ho-hum that you get on the radio type of thing.
Right. Yeah.
It probably will be very helpful in the long run. I wasn't joking when I said I'll trade you that bag of chicken feed for a month of playing out in the field. If it only slows down the traffic a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying that angle too when I was there. I was like, let me get right next to the sculpture. So you got to, you know. Oh, that's what that instrument I find. Like I like to go public areas, not so public where but place where a lot of people might be walking by, like a train station or something, around 4 or 5 o'clock when people are getting out for work, just so they can, because they're coming from a city or something, and 9 times out of 10 they've never heard anything like that. Just to break their, like, wow, there's different stuff out there. Open your mind a little, or just like to stop them from being a bee for half a second.
The brain is very much like an elastic band, and it's taut all the time. It's really stretched out. And when you come across something different like that, music, it basically releases the stress on it and allows the brain to come back to its original shape. Because if you don't do that occasionally, it atrophies.
Yeah.
Then you're lost. You're not able to do it physically. You end up with nervous problems and everything related to it.
That's definitely true. Yeah. Yeah. So what? Have you been hearing any more of those noises from down below, or has that ceased?
I haven't heard any noises from below. The one thing that's different that I've noticed is that we had a visitor during one night that was an ox, a bull, cow type animal, bovine. You can tell by the shape of the
prints
that it came basically from next door. They have 6 animals, I think. 3 cows, 2 bulls, and an ox. And I checked, the footprints, and it looked like it came directly to the gate and stood at the gate and walked by the area in which Scotty had his fire pit there beside.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And then I traced it to the back, up the hill where the grave used to be, and that was basically that night. But 2 nights later, a set of footprints again appear, and this time it wasn't like just wandering around. If one were to put down 7, 8, or 10 different things that we do on the site here, each one of them was visited by this ox, suggesting that in fact somebody was riding it. That sounds a little strange in this part of the world. However, in India, it would be a normal thing. They're used for such purposes. The strangest thing is I started checking up on Siwa, or Shiva, the god of destruction in old Hindu mythology, Brahmin and Buddhist and Taoist and that kind of stuff. And he's represented by an ox. And of course, in some of the groups of that religion, they treat the ox as a god and provide it with special quarters. It lives the life of a king, basically. A bunch of people slaving around it to give it food and clean out its space and all of that stuff. But they believe it's reincarnated, like the Buddha.
Yeah.
and it has to be a black animal with a white thing on the forehead. I went and leaned on the fence, try to get a good look at the animals they have next door, and see if it was in fact a bull, a cow, or an ox. An ox is supposed to be castrated. Have yet to determine for certain, but it looks like, from my point of view, which wasn't very well positioned because he kept looking at me, standing facing me all the time. I couldn't see anything underneath. Like, he didn't even have a penis, as far as I could tell.
Well,
as you would expect from a bull, you know. Castration basically would mean removal of the testicles, and that shouldn't affect that part.
Right, yeah.
It was not visible. There was nothing visible, so I'm still trying to see for certain what's going on. It's interesting that we live in Oxford Mills, and the destroyer at the end of the world, Siwa, which, by the way, is a play on the word ami, or Sima, which is the Moho discontinuity. He apparently has a consort, goddess, whose name is, he has a number of names. One of them is Kali. Sounds a lot like Kealey. But a second name it has is Ambika.
Oh, really?
Coincidence?
Oh, wow.
I don't believe in coincidence. So, strange thing.
Wow, it's just like players on a stage, man. It's like, holy God.
I told her that this afternoon when she called, and she said she knew, she had seen it in some of the documentation. She thought, that she was the goddess of destruction, according to the story. And I said, no, it's him that's the god of destruction, and you're basically wife or girlfriend or whatever. So I said, it's telling me that you need to get here, because if we're going to stop the destruction of the world, we want all of the insiders possible. Now,
it won't hurt to have an Ambika around.
Hey, get over here, George. I need to talk to you. But, it's also interesting that she's married to a Mormon.
Yeah, I know. That's like, yeah. Before I even knew about that, about just the Mormon thing, I was like, wow, how the connection to your property and everything.
Yeah. There's no doubt that they play a role in all of this, because they have the other half of the plate.
Yeah. Let's go try to get it.
Yeah. And it was given to them in New York State, so not too far from here, geographically speaking.
No, not at all. Yeah.
So it's, every day for me here is an experience. I get up never knowing what to expect, and I'm constantly surprised at the linkages that appear in pre-Ice Age lifestyle, troglodytes in the middle, the Syrian lifestyle around Hurry and the Hittites and Hurrians, those people up there, and then the Egyptians and the 18th dynasty. All of it, to me, seems like the same story being repeated over and over and over again without getting to the conclusion. That's why I refer to it as the unfinished symphony.
Yeah. Waiting
for us, as far as I can tell, to be the one that brings it to an end one way or the other.
Yeah. It's quite amazing. Yeah. And, okay, so there's no more of that noise underneath, and...
Not that I know of. But I haven't been looking for it, and I haven't been in that part.
So, is the cell broadcasting some type of something around your house? Because I'm telling you, only that I'm calling you, I'm hearing just like click, like every...
Oh, that's Bell Canada.
But it's really strong today. It's really strong. It's really strong today, and it's a lot more frequent. Every like 20 seconds I'm hearing it. So.
Yeah. You got to remember that Bell Canada has an antenna on the house to the north of us. It has one on the house across the street. The people's name there are Gorell, linked to Gore.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in the middle between these two. The people on the south side of us used to live here as well. And the construction of this house being basically an assembled prefab with no gyprock anywhere in the house suggests that there could be anything anywhere in any of the walls, and certainly a good shot of wind with a hurricane coming by would probably blow it to pieces. So this house has had a purpose from the beginning. The grave I found has the name Patton on it as the person who lived here and died in 1865. By a strange coincidence, when you look at the 18th dynasty and the building of a new capital for the new Ten religion, a part of that area was set aside for the nobles, and it's like the pharaoh's cabinet each have a house there. The guy in charge of national defense, his name was Patton.
Yeah. Right.
Getting AWACS planes flying over the top, getting planes from our security services, SEGSIS, flying over the top. All of these things, I'm sure, don't happen on every farm in Canada. You know? So there is a knowledge of what we're doing. I've been attempting, as you must have read on the emails, to get through to the politicians.
Yeah.
The main one being Robert Runciman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually a name that starts with R's, like Rockefeller and Rothschild.
Money man.
Into the money.
Yeah.
And his name suggests he's their number one man in this area. Can't get a budge out of any of them, federal or provincial. Can't get the police to investigate police-protected crime. Is it simply because they think I'm crazy? I doubt it. As a matter of fact, there have been editorials written in the Ottawa Citizen about the opposite at one time when I was on Parliament Hill.
Yeah.
So the construction that is going on in the area on the infrastructure, the roads. I mean, every day, morning till night, gravel trucks and everything is suggestive that something is being dug out someplace else in the area.
Mm.
Maybe they're trying to clean out whatever it is underground here so that, those noises don't occur again. I don't know what the heck they're doing. All I know is that the shopping center, the main shopping center that they are building, was supposed to be delayed. That was spoken about early this summer until 2012, and now they've announced that it's going to begin construction in the spring. Walmart is the main tenant, but the first one to build is Staples. The name Staples sounds a lot like Abel, Honor Abel.
Yeah.
So there's activity, that Ottawa, the national capital of Canada, has enlarged its footprint by amalgamating all the rural communities around it to the point where it's now the largest area for a national capital in the world when it comes to rural property attached to the city. So it looks like they're preparing for an additional 1 million or 2 people into that area.
Yeah. It played the same way in that. Yeah, it played the same way in that 2012 movie too. Like they probably knew, their whole thing was the Mayan solar flare thing that's going to come. But that was, I think they had like 3 or 4 years preparation, or maybe 3 years, and the big theme was like the guy who discovered or helped discover. He's like, when are you going to tell the people? And then they're like joking, like we're not going to tell the public. Are you crazy? They're going to want to get on these ships. We're not going to tell them. They're all just going to go down,
Yeah. Well, at one time, it was illegal for weathermen to announce a coming hurricane.
Oh, wow.
It was not that long ago that they authorized the discussion on the news about major weather problems coming. I heard the guy on CNN discuss the topic one day, that they couldn't talk about things like hurricanes, and it was basically out of fear of being sued. You get sued because it happens, or you get sued because it doesn't happen.
Mm.
So now that they've made it legal to speak about it, they've removed the threat of legal action if it's less or more than what is announced. So if they did that until at least the 60s, if not the 70s, then would they talk about the possibility of the end of the world? I doubt it.
Would anyone listen?
Yeah, and would anyone listen? They've dumbed them down so much.
It's frenzy. Yeah. So, as the water hasn't dropped any in that little pond back there, has it?
No. Water doesn't drop in the pond; it freezes. It's only 18 inches deep. You're talking about right?
Oh, really?
Or you
right behind your house.
Creek.
No, whatever. Like right, the one when you're looking at with the old grave site, you can see the water right there.
That's the creek. Yeah.
Oh, that's the creek.
Well, yeah.
It looked like it was standing water.
It basically would go down somewhat every fall, and at this period it would be at its lowest. However, for the last 2 years, or 3 years now, there's been more rainfall in August and September than there ever was before. So, I was walking on the back of the property, and there's still water on our site next to where the fence is, and just below the height of my rubber boots. And so that's almost 10 inches of water above ground in that area. That usually was gone when we arrived here in the year 2000. That would have been gone at the beginning or middle of June, when all the snow had melted. A couple of weeks after that, the water was dried up.
Yeah.
But in the last 2 or 3 years, there's water on the ground year-round. I mean, it freezes in the wintertime.
Especially this year, it rained a lot, too.
Yeah. But, they're listening in on our conversations. They're tapping the phone lines. They're doing everything they can to stop me from posting.
Yeah.
They keep sending me messages. Your program has performed an illegal operation and will shut down. Boom, everything's gone off the screen. I have to reload everything. And I don't know, it doesn't seem to be that they want to stop me, because they don't repeat it, the next time. They just do it every day kind of thing once. But as soon as I reload it, they don't repeat it.
Right.
So they are basically trying to stress me, but not stop me. I don't get stressed, but I'm kind of...
You expect it, right?
Eh?
You expect it now, right? From them.
When you've lived my life, by the time you're 69, you've had so much of this stuff that it's normal.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like I used to get really disappointed in people, but then now I'm used to it because everyone's pretty fucked up. As far as anything.
Some people that this week as well. When I first arrived here, and I came to the conclusion about what was going on, I made a pledge that I would do everything I can to prevent it from happening, and that I would really feel bad if I couldn't stop it. Mm-hmm. But in the last 2 or 3 years, I've moved off of that position. I still would do everything I can to prevent it from happening. But I'm not going to feel as bad as I thought I would if I don't stop it by, before phase 1. Because the more I live this life, the more I realize that there's a whole bunch of people out there not worth saving.
Yeah.
And humanity might benefit from their disappearance. And if they all think that they're saved, and they're going to get into these submarines or whatever and go to some secret place, but in fact they're all going to be destroyed, kind of parked underneath Lake Ontario or what have you. Mm-hmm. Those people I wouldn't mind seeing leaving the planet.
Right, the first ones. Yeah. Yep. The helpers of all this, too. That's true. Yeah. I mean, I've even thought about it to preventing this, but
servants.
What was that?
I said I don't think they'd be allowed to bring their servants.
They might though. They want to, right? Maybe one guy. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, so I don't like I was thinking about that too. Like you're trying to stop this, but if they never know you stopped it, then they're going to continue to be like, how they are.
Yeah.
Even the regular mass people.
We're not the ones who are going to do the actual stopping. I mean, that's too big an event for us. what we can do is, by creating critical mass, put the onus back where it belongs, in the hands of creation, and say, okay, we've proven to you that there is a redeeming social interest in saving this planet, because there are people with functioning brains on it who are still able to decipher what's going on and are calling upon creation for help. So as we hand over the responsibility to creation, then basically there's no doubt creation can make certain events happen or not happen that would allow life to continue on this planet. Under what circumstances, I don't know. As long as creation hasn't lost complete belief that this place is worth saving. Because if it does, there's nothing that can be done. And it will if we can't produce 13 people with a functioning brain. So my task is basically to remind creation every day that in order for me to be able to do that, I need the resources. I'm not asking for anybody else's money. I'm asking for money owed to me by the thieves who stole it from me, who control our world. And if I should happen to acquire those funds, they will be redistributed within a month to those people I believe might, in fact, form this critical mass. And not trusting in my own judgment, I'm not going to limit it to 13. I'm going to go for 30, hoping that in the 30 there are 13 who tell the truth.
Yeah.
So,
it's like looking for a passing grade on a test, right?
Yeah. So I'm waiting, and patience has never been my virtues. My wife, ex-wife, used to call me stubborn, and I used to remind her that no, I wasn't stubborn. I was tenacious. There is a difference. It's very difficult for most people to identify, especially when they're the target of my tenacity.
Oh, man.
But it's funny that the word tenacity has 10 in it.
Yeah.
And it's attached to EC, ASC, and it says TY, 2 in 1, transmitting 2 in 1. Anyways, that's where I'm at. It's going to be a winter that will continue. If Scotty comes back after Christmas, he's going to start on a trial. And the trial is, how does one survive if one is all of a sudden confronted with the fact that there are no stores? You can't go and buy your food at the grocery store. How can one survive on a place like this farm? And I've got to teach him how to slaughter a goat. I got to go through how you kill a chicken. And then, because it's the first winter and he hasn't done the garden thing yet, we're going to supply him with veggies. He's going to have to try to live off the land, basically off of goat stew I mean, if he was Arabic, I'm sure he'd love it. Being Scottish, I'm not so sure.
That goat's good, though. I'm a fan.
You're a fan of goats?
Yes, to eating goats. And oxtails.
Maybe you should come and spend a week with them and show them some recipes or something.
We'll think of our own recipes.
Eh?
Yeah, we'll combine. Maybe you'll get some Scottish flavor in there, and I'll throw in some rice stuff. We'll make some new recipes up.
Yeah. So
I'm down to learn that as well. That's something, my father has a farm, but not.
He would enjoy your company.
What was that?
He would enjoy your company.
Yeah, I'll put in my hand. I wasn't raised on a farm, but my father always kind of put me out there, and took me into nature. And he actually has his own farm now in Pennsylvania. So when I go up there, it's kind of like going to your house. Nothing around and nice and quiet, peaceful. So that's when I get to unwind instead of where I live. All I see is windows everywhere, so I feel like I'm on stage all the time.
Right.
So you don't know how.
I was raised in downtown Ottawa, so I know a little bit about that feeling. I was within about a mile of Parliament Hill in Ottawa. So.
Oh yeah, definitely same feeling here.
But when I arrived here, it was for me a catharsis that changed my life, basically, because I had never stopped, basically, to listen or smell or feel the wind. You feel a storm when you're in the city. You don't think about the wind.
Right. Yeah.
So it changed my approach to everything. That life is not being on a Ferris wheel. Life is much more interesting sober than drunk.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If the circumstances around make it possible, everyone should live on a farm. And maybe after phase 1, that'll be the case.
Yeah. And everyone's going to have to know how to, well, everyone should know how to survive, as far as living off the land, because that's what's going to be left. Where you're not going to be getting supplies coming in every week, and, it's not going to be like that. I don't think so anyway. But.
And your menu has to match what's available in the quantities that it's available as well.
Yeah, exactly. And to know how to store food without electricity, and you already have that kind of figured out, I guess. But
cold cellar type of approach,
things like that.
So that's what we're going to be doing this winter. If he doesn't manage to come, then it's something that I want to try, and I'll be probably starting that in the spring. I hope he comes.
He's shooting for when is he trying to shoot back?
Eh?
When is he trying to come back? Like around when?
Christmas.
Christmas? Oh, that's soon. Okay.
Yeah, in January, I guess. He lost his grandmother while he was there, so she passed away. So they're having all kinds of family reunions until Christmas, and then he'd be more free, and he's got to raise the money for the airline and get himself over here.
Might be better after Christmas anyway. I think the prices go back down. I think.
You hope?
Yeah, I hope. Well, I pretty much got the drive down to you, so I could do it probably with my eyes closed now, so I think I got back.
How much did it cost in gas? Did you figure that out?
Well, at the time, what I did was I filled up, I think, it all depends on how much I start out with. Because I know in New Jersey the gas is probably 40 cents cheaper than it is around me. So I kind of just coast to Jersey and fill up, and then from Jersey I made it to like maybe 2 exits before Canada, because I knew Canada had more expensive gas, so I got gas again.
Right.
But on one tank till I bleed it dry, I could get to your house. So I have a 20-gallon tank in my car.
Right.
So it all depends on how I drive. The mountains is what kills me going up. You put more weight and everything. But gas wise, it was under. I'd say. Let's see. I'll do it quick in my head. Maybe under 100. I'd say.
Yeah.
Or maybe 150. Like maybe round trip if I did it. Or I'd say maybe under 100 though.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what Stephanie had paid from Massachusetts was about $100. Yeah.
I was also doing probably 80 the whole way because it was still a long drive. But it's about 6.5 hour drive with no traffic.
Yeah.
But there's people that are for instance on the forum, the guy lives in I think Rochester, and that's only about a couple hours away. Like I drove past, I was like, oh wow, it's just like a hop, skip, and a jump to your place.
Yeah.
A lot of people are all talk, I think. So
6.5 hours from Ottawa takes one to Niagara Falls. So that is a comparative thing I can use for judging the distance. Toronto is about 4.5 hours from Ottawa, and Niagara Falls a couple hours later.
Yeah, it's pretty much a straight drive right through. Pretty much the skinnier part of New York State is with the way I go. So I'm just east of all the lakes over there, and I shoot up that way through Pennsylvania. I could go the other way where it's just all upstate New York, but I think it's a little longer. But it's no big deal. For where I'm going, it's and what you're doing with it, it's not a big deal.
Well, we're waiting for you. Anytime you feel like coming and spending some time.
Yeah.
Even for a weekend in the winter or whatever.
Okay. I'll have to watch for the blizzards you get. Well, my car is front wheel drive, so.
Yeah, you live with those things after a while.
Yeah, I'm used to snow.
If you keep away from the big bodies of water, like you don't head for Lake Ontario.
Right.
Cross the St. Lawrence, at Montreal even, that basically is the cleanest part of the drive from Montreal to here on the Canadian side of the St. Lawrence here.
I don't know if I told you when I left your place that evening, like it started raining, and then it started pouring rain where I had to go maybe 15 miles an hour with my wipers on as high as it can go. And I saw lightning probably about, I'd say, 60 feet away. I was like, oh, man, I better be careful. Oh, they are great. Here it comes,
The flood, the deluge.
I was like, oh, great. After that?
It was just creation saying goodbye.
Yeah. That's good, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Yes, enjoy the rest of your night. Yes, I'll talk to Jared. Jared, he had some issue with like a phone, so he's been meaning to get to you. So as soon as his phone gets squared away, I'll send my condolences.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.